The world of Helios Verge was small, golden, and young, a fledgling human colony orbiting the amber star Eltanis IV. Its cities were still skeletal, its oceans barely charted. The colonists had come not as conquerors, but as dreamers, farmers, engineers, families, carving a home from wilderness. When the Valcor Dominion arrived, there was no warning. Their ships descended like shards of midnight, angular leviathans that tore open the skies with beams of ultraviolet fire. The first strikes vaporized the orbital platform Beacon 9, 4,200 souls gone in less than a breath. The colony's defense grid activated too late. The alien armada had already cracked the surface with kinetic bombardments, igniting forests, boiling lakes, and shattering mountains. From orbit, the Dominion's Admiral Kathir watched the destruction unfold, his 6 eyes reflecting the flames below. "Pathetic," he hissed to his second-in-command. "They claim this species survived wars among themselves. Yet look, no response, no defense. Earthlings are soft. Peace has made them weak." He turned to the holographic projection of the colony, where a final transmission blinked faintly before static swallowed it. A human woman's voice, calm even as death approached. "If this message reaches Earth, tell them we held the line," Kathir sneered. The line broke before it was drawn. The Dominion fleet burned the colony until only glassed continents and silent craters remained. Then, for good measure, they executed the few survivors, broadcasting the footage across the Orion trade networks as a lesson. The lesson was clear. Humanity was fragile. The galaxy watched and nodded. The Dominion had merely proven what many believed, that the Terrans, for all their growing reach and noisy diplomacy, were still children among the stars. But the galaxy had forgotten something vital. Children grow, and when you slaughter their kin, they do not forget. Mockery among the stars weeks passed. The ashes of Helios Verge cooled, the Dominion's subspace channels filled with laughter and boasts. Earthlings begged for mercy, sneered Captain Torvak, his mandibles clicking in amusement. "Do they think their trade fleets can avenge a colony? Let them send their diplomats. We'll hang them next." The Valcor believed in dominance through spectacle. Their empire thrived on fear. They'd crushed countless species. Some fled, others submitted. Those who resisted vanished into memory. The Dominion High Council even convened a celebration, broadcasting across the galactic relay. A triumphant speech by Supreme Strategos Vekral. His words echoed through 1,000 systems. "Let it be known, the age of human expansion is over. Earth may whimper from behind its blue veil, but it dares not face us. They will bow or break." The galactic forums erupted in agreement. Mercantile races cut trade with human colonies. Neighboring worlds distanced themselves. The phrase "fragile Earthlings" spread like wildfire. But something odd followed. Human space went quiet, not diplomatically, entirely. Trade routes closed. Civilian vessels vanished from comms. Embassies sealed their doors. Transmissions ceased. Not even a whisper crossed the SolNet beacons. To the galaxy, it seemed as though humanity had withdrawn to mourn its dead. To those who knew better, it felt like the universe itself was holding its breath. Then came the silence before the storm. When the sky trembled, 43 days after Helios Verge burned, an automated probe from the Zoltan Confederacy passed near Sol. It detected something vast, a gravitational anomaly in the outer system. Moments later, its signal was lost. The Zoltans dismissed it. The Valcor mocked it. 3 days after that, the Dominion's border listening posts picked up an incoming transmission, faint, encoded, and human. The message repeated 3 times before cutting off. "This is the Terran Defense Command. Evacuate all civilian sectors within Valcor territory. You have 24 hours. At first, the Dominion laughed again. "Idle threats," they said. Empty words from a frightened world. But the laughter faded when sensors detected movement. From the void beyond Pluto's orbit, the first human dreadnoughts emerged. They were not the sleek diplomatic cruisers the galaxy had seen before. These ships were monsters, built of tungsten and wrath, kilometers long, their hulls bristling with railguns and plasma cannons. The flagship bore a name carved in steel across its prow, UNS Vengeance of Dawn. Behind it, hundreds followed, an armada forged in silence, hidden beneath the ice of Jupiter's moons and the shadows of Saturn's rings. Generations of peace had not dulled humanity's weaponsmiths. It had given them time to build in secret. The fleets of Earth, Mars, Titan, and Luna united under one banner for the first time in centuries. Their motto, broadcast once across every open channel, We do not forgive. We do not forget. By the time the Dominion realized the scale of the mobilization, it was too late. 4. The first retaliation. The human counterstrike began without ceremony. No declarations, no speeches, only the roar of engines and the silence that followed annihilation. The Dominion's frontier world, Vile Prime, was the first to burn. It began when their orbital defense platforms flickered, then went dark, entire power grids collapsing from an unseen EMP surge. Moments later, the human fleet dropped from warp, tearing space open like a wound. Their weapons fired in perfect synchronization. Rail slugs the size of buildings crossed the void at 10% of light speed. The first volley struck Vale Prime's capital city. The second destroyed its fleet yards. The third was simply unnecessary. 12 hours later, a planet of 3 billion ceased to exist. Human transmissions remained cold and clinical. For Helios Verge, one broadcast said, before vanishing into static. Dominion reinforcements arrived too late, only to find debris fields and silence. The wreckage bore no life signs, only the remnants of cities and the echo of vengeance. Kathir himself watched from the command bridge of the Pride of Viel, disbelief clawing at his mind. "How?" he muttered. "They should not have this power," an officer replied, trembling. "Reports indicate their technology advanced during isolation. Faster than light coil drives, rail kinetics beyond prediction, AI coordination. They're human," Kathir spat. "That means they adapt." He was right. Humanity had always adapted, to ice ages, plagues, wars, and extinction itself. Against the void, they had learned to turn every scar into steel. Now, their vengeance moved faster than reason. The War of the Burning Skies, in the weeks that followed, the Dominion collapsed by degrees. Human fleets did not conquer. They erased. World after world fell beneath orbital bombardments so precise they left continents untouched and military targets vaporized. Entire garrisons vanished beneath tungsten spears from orbit. No negotiations, no mercy. Only one grim refrain, Helios Verge. The Dominion's proud admirals tried to counterattack. They gathered a massive armada, 12,000 ships strong, near the twin suns of Rithkar. They planned to ambush the advancing Terran forces, to prove the Valkor still ruled the stars. When the human fleet arrived, they did not maneuver for advantage. They came straight through the star's corona, their hulls shielded by magnetic armor that should not have existed. The Dominion ships barely had time to orient before the humans opened fire. It wasn't a battle, it was a revelation. The Dominion's flagship, Kathir's Pride, took 3 direct hits from kinetic slugs. Each tore through layers of armor and atmosphere, igniting the ship from within. Kathir's final transmission was not of defiance. It was disbelief. They were supposed to be fragile. The fleet burned. The twin suns shone brighter that day, fed by the detonation of thousands of ships. Across the galaxy, the broadcasts stopped mocking Earth. Instead, every network replayed the same haunting footage. A Terran dreadnought gliding through the wreckage of an entire armada, its hull reflecting fire and silence. The stars themselves seemed to bow before the fury of humankind. See, fire that spoke in silence. The Dominion tried to surrender. Their High Council transmitted pleas for negotiation, for truce, even for mercy. But humanity remembered the broadcasts, the mockery, the execution of colonists, the laughter over the ashes of Helios Verge. The reply from Earth was simple, chilling, and final. You showed us mercy once. We learned from it. The final campaign lasted 9 days. 9 days in which the Dominion's capital, Vorak Thun, was turned into a tomb of glass and metal. Human troops descended, armored giants in powered exosuits, silent and relentless. Their boots thundered through the streets where alien nobles once celebrated conquest. When it was over, no empire remained. The Dominion's symbols were melted into slag, their archives erased. Humanity did not occupy. They did not enslave. They left nothing that could ever rise again. Then, as swiftly as they came, the Terran fleets withdrew, vanishing into the dark between stars, leaving behind only the echo of their wrath. Galactic historians would later call it the 40-Day War. Others called it something simpler, something older: judgment. 7th, the weight of silence months later, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. No human delegation attended. The remaining empires spoke in hushed tones, every word measured, every breath cautious. The chair being once reserved for Earth lay empty, draped in black. An old Zoltan scholar finally spoke what all feared to say aloud. We thought them fragile because they valued peace. We mistook restraint for weakness. We will not make that mistake again. The chamber fell silent. From that day onward, an unspoken law spread across the stars. A new constant in the calculus of galactic politics: never provoke Earth. Merchant fleets detoured around human sectors. Pirate lords swore oaths never to raid Terran space. Even the most arrogant warlords spoke of humanity not with contempt, but reverence, because when Earth had burned, it did not wail or beg, it waited, and when it struck back, it taught the stars a lesson that would echo for millennia. The planet they thought fragile had forged its people in apocalypse after apocalypse, from fire, from flood, from their own wars. Fragility was never their curse, it was their camouflage. Now the galaxy knew. Humanity's fury was not loud, it was quiet, it was patient, and it was absolute. Epilogue. The whisper of worlds decades later. A Valcor child, one of the few survivors of the Old Dominion, asked his elder a question. "Grandfather, is it true? Did the humans destroy us?" The old alien paused, staring into the night sky where the scarred remains of his homeworld still drifted. He nodded slowly. They did. And they were merciful not to stay, the child frowned. But why did they stop? The elder's eyes dimmed. Because they remembered who they are. And because they wanted us to remember too. High above, among the shattered moons and quiet stars, the faint glimmer of a Terran probe drifted silently, its hull etched with words from an ancient human tongue. Fragile is not broken. Fragile bends, and then it strikes. The message pulsed once before fading into the endless dark. And across the galaxy, where whispers still feared to speak Earth's name, the lesson endured. They thought Earth fragile, but fell to its fury.